I'm the Arrow.
And I'm the Sparrow.
And this is ValeViewSports. Well, welcome to week 4. Should be an exciting show, Sparrow. What we're going to be doing this week is we'll finally have our long-awaited wrap of the Border Gavaskar trophy. It's been a bloody mess.
Oh, look, it's not pretty for Australia. Terrible.
No, it wasn't a good series at all. We'll also talk F1. And we're not really going to review the Malaysian Grand Prix. What we're going to do is we're going to get the whole gang together. So Condor will come onto the couch with us and we're going to chat about, I guess, what was the Red Bull team orders fiasco, the Weber-Vettel deal.
Yeah, look, it'll be a pretty tough and confronting season.
Yeah, indeed. And also what else we'll do is something pretty exciting. Rusty Watch, edition 2 of that. So, looking forward to the show. Alright, let's send the bales flying and get stuck into this Border Gavaskar trophy. Sparrow, let's get straight into it. Can you draw any positives from this series for Australian Test cricket?
Look, it's pretty hard. It was a pretty terrible series, but look, the captain Clark, he really stood up, which is a good thing to see. A lot of captains have been struggling to stand up with their actual performances. But look, no, he's definitely the one. He can do it. Yeah,
Pup. He grew into the man. No, he grew into a man a while ago, Michael Clark. His performance was outstanding with the bat. I thought he captained really well. His leadership was good, apart from the homework fiasco aside. And I thought his knocks in the first and second tests, his 100 and his 90-odd in Hyderabad were high-class knocks on very difficult pitches. He really showed the way and topped the batting averages by a mile.
Yeah, look, no, it's good to see. It's good to see.
I thought James Pattinson was, again, homework fiasco aside, he bowled pretty well, particularly in the first test. His performance with the ball in the first test on a pitch that was an absolute road, the way he bowled that full length that really troubled the Indian batsman, I thought he was a standout.
Yeah, look, he was a standout, especially in the first, but, I mean, he didn't really have much to contend with at the moment because, well, everybody else struggled.
Yeah. Unfortunately, the bowling wasn't great, particularly in those early matches. But Peter Siddle, he really stood up towards the end, didn't he?
Well, it was good to see because the first couple he was struggling a bit, but he really came home in the end.
Yeah, he showed his heart, Peter Siddle. As I like to say, he'd be the only man that would stay behind at the MCG to fight a bushfire if one was there. So Pete, his performance in the final 2 tests, he bowled really well. He took a 5-4 in Mohali, and in the final test at Delhi, where he also avoided the dreaded Delhi belly, he was the first number 9 in Test history to make 250s.
Yeah, how about his batting? It's been great. It's good to see him.
I still stand by my prediction that he'll make a Test 100 one of these days.
Oh, let's hope so.
Alright, is there anybody you've got a black mark against? Is there anybody you never want to see pull on that beautiful baggy green again?
Oh, well, look, there's one definite. Hugh Doherty. He should not be seen again.
Hugh Doherty? Don't you mean Xavier Doherty? Hugh Doherty. Hugh Doherty. No, that's alright. No, Xavier Doherty, he's definitely got a black mark against him as well. I can't stand the bloke. I made that very clear in my spinners video earlier on in the series. His bowling was its usual self, pretty appalling. Pitched the ball too full, looked to do his damage with darts. Didn't really offer a lot of turn and bowled too quickly. No, he never needs to play Test cricket again.
Definitely.
Also, on Enriquez, his performance in the first Test was very good, particularly with the bat, and he kept things tight with the ball, but as the series wore on, he really struggled against the spin with the bat, and he only took 2 wickets for the series. While he kept things tight with the ball, I thought he struggled for penetration. He never really looked like troubling the Indian top order.
Yeah, no, look, I'd have to agree with you, yeah. I mean, there's just too many people like him that you could pick instead of him. I mean, that are going to be average, but just not step up to the wearing the baggy green.
Yeah, Shane Watson, I wouldn't say there's a black mark against him, but his batting form at the moment is just not where it needs to be. We know what he's capable of, but he's just he's not showing it, is he? And for him to be considered as a top draw player, I know, his fitness permitting, but he needs to bowl. I don't think he can keep holding his place in the side as a pure batsman. He's a brilliant partnership break with the ball. I think he just has to take that risk with his body and bowl again.
Well, it's definitely his body is the only reason why he's not doing it. But, yeah, look, his batting appears to be suffering from it when it really should be, well, helped by it.
Yeah, I know you're a big fan of the big show, Glenn Maxwell, but I think he's a Test player, but I don't think he's ready for Test cricket yet. He needs another solid season in Shield cricket, and he could go over to England and play some county cricket as well, develop his game more. He's got, you know, a good basis there to be a good spinner, but if he can improve, I guess, his accuracy, he still likes to, he's got a lot of good variations, but if he can improve his accuracy, keep things a bit tighter, he's got all the ingredients there to be a good bowler, and it also gives him more time to work on his batting. He needs to develop a bit more of a test mindset. He got out playing a lot of silly shots.
Well, he did. Look, I'm glad they included him. To be honest, I think the experience will do him well. I agree he does need to go back and just at least one more season. But look, I think the experience will do him wonders, and when he is ready to come back, that experience will show dividends.
Yeah, and this might be a bit harsh, but also I was pretty disappointed with Mitchell Starc's performance. Again, I don't want to completely blacklist him from Test cricket, but at the moment, the best we're seeing from Mitchell Starc is in one-dayers. And I think maybe it won't hurt to let him build up his experience more and just keep him as a one-day and 2020 bowler, at least for maybe 12 to 18 months, and then he can get back into the Test side. He's got a brilliant talent basis, but at the moment, with long spells, a young, fragile body, he just doesn't seem to be offering a lot in terms of accuracy and I guess a threat of wicket taking.
Yeah, look, he wasn't great, especially with his stats. But look, I think I'd still include him in England. I think he's definitely, well, he should have a spot there. It wasn't great, but I mean, nobody really shone in India. So if we could all move past that and just move on to England.
Yeah, nobody really did shine. It was a disappointing series, and India turned the table on us and won the Border Gavaskar Trophy 4-0. So overall, a disappointing tour. Let's look ahead. I know it's a long way off, a good few months left to it, but we thought we'd have a bit of fun and also show where our opinions are at plays, and we've both picked a team for the first Ashes Test at Trent Bridge. So I'll kick us off, Sparrow. I think my team's a little bit better than yours. No, actually, I think they're pretty similar. So the team I would have for the first Test at Trent Bridge in the Ashes would be Warner, Cowan, Hughes, Clark, Watson, Wade, McDonald, Pattinson, Siddle, Ryan Harris, who's also my uncle, and Nathan Lyon.
Look, well, he's not your uncle, first off.
Okay, he is.
Well, he's not. But let's move past that. Look, I have pretty much exactly the same team, except I'd get rid of McDonald. I'd stick Maxwell back in there. I think he still needs some experience. And look, I'd also get rid of your uncle and put Stark in.
Oh, you pick Mitchell Starc over Ryan Harris. That's ridiculous.
I don't think Harris's body can hold up.
We'll see. Even if we can just play him in 2 or 3 tests, I think he'd be worth it with his pure wicket-taking ability. You prefer Maxwell over the Ginger Ninja. McDonald is sort of a no-fuss cricketer. He doesn't do anything special, but his bowling, he's a better batsman than Maxwell, and his bowling will suit English conditions more, I believe.
Well, I mean, Maxwell, he had to step up in India, and nobody stepped up in India. So I think it's hard to say he didn't do a very good job because nobody did. Look, I'd give him another chance in England, see how he goes.
All right, well, we'll chat about more cricket as the year goes on, and we're looking forward to covering the Ashes series. All right, time for our favourite segment, Rusty Watch. Leighton was in Miami this week at the Sony Ericsson Open, another 1,000 tournament. We like our 1,000 tournaments, don't we?
Yeah, we do.
Big points on offer there. So Leighton came in, got again an okay draw. Obviously an unseeded player in the first round because all the seeds get buys in the first round. So Leighton played Sousa from Portugal and took him down in 2 sets. I believe the second went to a tie-break though. But from what I read of the match stats, I didn't watch it. Leighton served very well.
Yeah, look, I love it when he serves well. It's always great to see.
Yeah, it's important that he serves well because his serve isn't that quick, so he needs to get a lot of balls in. So you can see why he won that match. And also, Sousa was really not in the same ballpark as Leighton Hewitt. Let's be honest. I'm sure Hayo wouldn't be upset with that. So in the second round, he had to play the nuggety Frenchman Gilles Simon. The thing about Gilles Simon, he's got such a high ranking because he gets so many balls back. He's just one of those defensive baseliners, just tries to wear people down, and they're very frustrating players to play against. And Gilles dealt with Leighton pretty easily, to be honest. The match only went a little bit over an hour, and Gilles beat him 6-3, 6-3, which is pretty disappointing because I gave Leighton a chance going into that match.
Oh, look, Gilles Simon is terrible to watch. It's just back and forth until somebody makes a mistake. Rusty tried to do something with it, didn't work, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think he'd be pretty disappointed with that performance, to be honest, with the scoreline the way it was. But Leighton's in action, not next week, but the week after. The Australian Davis Cup team plays their next tie in Uzbekistan, so could be an interesting trip for the boys. Alright, we've got the Condor joining us, as you can see, for this week's chat on F1. And what we're going to talk about is the Red Bull team orders fiasco from the Malaysian Grand Prix. So basically, a bit of background. What happened was Mark Webber drove a seamless race, had the lead pretty comfortably over Sebastian Vettel, who was comfortably in second. And Red Bull decided after the final pit stop that they were just going to switch their engines down and try and coast to the end. They had a big enough gap over the Mercedes cars, who were coming third and fourth. And both drivers seemed to be obeying that, understood it, and then all of a sudden, out of the blue, with about 12 laps to go, Vettel started challenging Webber and nearly drove him off the road and went straight past him to win the race. So since then, Webber's obviously been very, very upset about what happened. Vettel has sort of apologised, but the fact that he just went through with it shows what kind of mentality the bloke has. And Red Bull, for once, appear to be pretty disappointed in Sebastian Vettel's actions. So what we've done, and we've got the whole panel together to talk about whether they think team orders, firstly, should be allowed in motorsport, and also just their opinion on what occurred at the Malaysian GP. So we're going to start with Sparrow. Sparrow, what did you think?
Oh, look, first of all, on team orders, I don't like them. However, I can see why you would have them. So, look, I think if you're going to have them, people should stick to it. Vettel absolutely ruined Mark and the Red Bull team. His actions could have cost them both, the whole team. If they had come together, it would have been all over. Mercedes would have come through. You can't have this type of person in a team. I mean, they're just going to cause problems. He obviously doesn't care about Mark, and not that much of the Red Bull either. For him to do that is extremely selfish, and just shows what an absolute dickish, selfish driver he is.
Yeah, it was pretty ordinary form. Your thoughts, Condor?
Oh, I mean, I can see where team orders can be, used well. I mean, I was discussing with the lads earlier. Later in the season, say you've got a few races to go, and one of your team members is in a chance for the drivers' championship. I mean, you're obviously going to let him pass through, but I mean, it's week 2. It's you want both your team to have a good chance. And I just thought, as the Sparrow said, if you watch the pass when he passed him, I mean, Webber had no idea it was happening. And Webber's had to go right out far on this corner, and I mean he almost spun out. So it could have been a really bad situation for both drivers and, of course, the team. But I mean, that team orders are right in the right place. This was probably definitely the right place. But I mean, yeah, nothing can change what he did, but it still happened, and I don't think it's great. It doesn't show a team sort of shit.
It's not team.
It doesn't really show the team buying it together.
Yeah, exactly. Like he's not a team player. It's a pretty obvious sort of way to show it.
Yeah, well, you want a team to gel. Mercedes, Rosberg, and Hamilton. Almost the exact same thing happened, except Rosberg obeyed the team orders and he stayed behind. I think that is what Vettel should have done.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think overall I agree with the other two fellas in that I don't necessarily like the idea of team orders, but there's no rule against them, and you can see why teams do it. In this instance, I think it was probably correct ruling because it's early in the season. Let's bank up our points. They've both got a good lead over the Mercedes car. There's no point in destroying each other's race. It happened before in Turkey in 2010 where they were comfortably leading over the McLarens, and again it was Vettel who tried to pass Webber, and they both collided. And it nearly happened here again. I mean, you can clearly hear on the team radio, firstly Vettel's engineer telling him to maintain the gap, and then and you knew it was serious that what Red Bull's plans were when the team principal Christian Horner came on the radio and told Vettel to stop it, that he was being silly. You don't often hear team principals on the radio, so they were very serious about the direction they wanted to go in for the rest of the race. Vettel chose to ignore that. He claims he misunderstood the message. I find that very hard to believe. And yeah, I mean, you know, I guess it was thrilling racing that they were both trying to go for the lead, but it's definitely not worthwhile when one of them nearly ends up in the wall. So I think Mark Webber has a right to be disappointed. You know, we're all Aussies, we'll look favourably on Mark, but what happened was just very ordinary. And my final assessment of Sebastian Vettel is I've never liked the bloke. I just find him a little smug, and I guess you get annoyed because Red Bull tend to favour him over Mark Webber. But I certainly respected him. I thought the way he's driven to succeed, I've always thought, geez, the hunger he has and the skill he has as a driver is unbelievable. But I lost some of that respect on Sunday night watching the race and seeing that Vettel, all he thought about was himself. He didn't really put the team's interests at heart and just went for it, nearly caused a crash. And I guess I gained respect for Lewis Hamilton. I don't think a lot of him, but the way he approached the situation, as he said, he felt terrible not letting Nico Rosberg through. So, you know, if Vettel adopted Hamilton's mentality, I mean, yes, Red Bull still got what they wanted. They achieved full points, but at what cost? You know, the team couldn't. I find it hard how they're going to stick together after this, and it's only round 2. There've already been relationship problems. Webber's clearly not happy. And it'll be an interesting story for the rest of the year, you know. Will Webber walk at the end of the year? Will he walk before then? What's going to happen? Well, we'll find out as the season goes on. But overall, some pretty poor form, I think we can agree on. And Mark Webber was robbed of a race win.
The rest of it.
All right, that's all we've got time for this week on ValeViewSports. Hope you enjoyed this week's show. As for next week, I'm pretty sure the Condor will be back with another edition of Condor's Corner, so look out, Action Sports fan, that should be good.
Yeah, can't go wrong with Condor's Corner.
No, we're still not sure as to the rest of next week's schedule. Looks like a pretty quiet week in sports. Hopefully we can come up with something. You got anything planned, Sparrow?
Well, look, no. I mean, we're a bit short of stories, but look, it'll still be a great show. We'll think of something.
Yeah, we could possibly get the handheld camera out and have a competition as to who can assort the fridge magnets in the, I guess the smartest order. You want to get those patterns and make sure they're tessellating quite nicely.
Nobody's going to watch it now.
Well, I beg to differ.
We're not doing that, folks.
We may well. Also, for those of you who are interested, we will just update the condition of our friend Mr. Malcolm Ryan. As you know, Mal had a fall, but at this point he's been taken out of intensive care and he's in still a pretty serious, but he's definitely stable condition. So you can visit him certain hours up there at St Andrews Hospital. So yeah, again, thinking of you, Mal.
Stay strong, buddy.
Hopefully, if we've got some TV issues here, we can have you back up on the ladder and on the roof in no time. Until then, ladies and gentlemen, remember, never kick a volleyball.